Okay, we're back. So we're gonna get into this story right now. New York City earthquakes and a whole lot more. Let's get into it. That was a lot. When it first happened where I was at in New York, I thought it was just the breeze. But turns out that it was an earthquake. I was shocked because people called me and tell me no, it was an earthquake. It wasn't the breeze. But let's see what these experts have to say.
Jersey, but people all over the New York City area, in parts of New Jersey, obviously felt it as well.
I know Governor Hochul is saying a 4.8 magnitude earthquake hit west of Manhattan has been felt throughout New York. Antoine Lewis is standing by. He's in the newsroom right now with the very latest. What's going on?
We'll get to Antoine in just a second,
Okay.
actually. This happened officially as we take a look at the map. It was near Lebanon, New Jersey. And, it's one of those things that you can see, like, we were changing. We had finished up Good Day New York, getting ready to head out for the day. And I'm sitting in the office. And, I've spent a lot of the last couple of years in California. And I feel the shaking. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm in New York. This can't be an earthquake. I thought, is there a subway line I don't realize? And it just kept shaking and kept shaking and kept shaking. And seemed like it went on quite a long time.
It felt like at least 10 or 15 seconds. I was sitting in my office and I'm like, I know there's not a train station underneath us because it sounded loud and it shook. I was looking at the pictures on my wall shaking. Right now, the police are saying, do not call 911 unless you have an emergency this morning.
All right. Out there on the streets of New York, Stephanie Bertini is with us. Stephanie, were you on the streets when this happened, or were you inside somewhere? And what's the reaction of New Yorkers? Because everybody's buzzing about this already.
So I was actually inside the station and we felt the tremble. And so obviously as a news team, we sprang into action. I came out here. I'm at 3rd and 67th at the corner here now and just started talking to people, and people also approaching us. You see a news crew, you want to know what's going on when something like this happens. And I came out here and talked to several people. One man was walking his dog and he says that he thought, like, okay, what is happening? Like, he was just sort of processing what is happening. And then he told me that he's actually relieved because as he looked around, it seems like everything, at least in this part of Manhattan, is okay. We're on the Upper East Side near our headquarters, Fox 5. I talked to another lady who said she was inside her apartment. She was in her bedroom and she felt everything shaky. She says automatically she thought about her daughter. Is my daughter okay? Her daughter is an older child, a teenager. She says once she realized she was okay and it kind of stopped, she came outside to kind of look around and make sure everything else is okay. Of course, when something like this happens, that's the thought process. How bad is this? What is happening? What are we processing? I talked to about 4 or 5 people before coming here live, and everybody told me the first thought on their mind was, is this an earthquake?
Well, it was. Thank you so much, Stephanie. We appreciate your information there. And it's one of those things that, look, knock on wood, so far there's been no reports of damage,
Thank
nothing
goodness,
serious.
right.
So this is one of those, it's a story to tell right before the eclipse happens.
You know, 4.8,
Yeah.
really, you feel it.
Yeah.
There was shaking. I heard it. I'm like, did I just have a drink or something? Like, what's going on here?
Well, you may have, but this earthquake was real. 4.8. Antoine Lewis is downstairs here in the newsroom with more. Antoine.
Still trying to find my glasses because we're all still trying to figure out what exactly happened. Kurt and Rosanna. Rosanna actually came around the corner and was looking at us. And just to put it into perspective of how we were handling things here, our morning editorial meeting was still ongoing. So all of the managers were in our news director's office. At me, Chris Welch, Michelle Ross, Morgan Mackay were in the newsroom side just working on our story. I was working on a report for the noon show in regards to the very latest on what's going on in the Middle East with what's going on in Israel. And the desk just started shaking. And just to put it into perspective, Michelle Ross sits next to me and Morgan Mackay sits across from me. And we were all doing literally like this the whole time. And at first we thought that maybe someone was pushing, you know, like a heavy container or something, one of our custodial staff or an engineer, and then we felt it above. And you know, let's just be honest, Kurt and Rosanna, this is an old building, so we all jumped up and were quickly trying to figure out what was going on. And at that point, that's when the managers came out of our news director's office and we all started to congregate around here in the newsroom, and everybody's on the phone just trying to figure it out. So what Stephanie was reporting, and Bertini actually sits next to me, and so our row, we literally were trembling the whole time, and then we just started trying to get more information.
It's crazy, man. It is crazy what's going on. I mean, what do you think about that? What do you think? Do you think that this is a natural disaster, this natural earthquake, or do you think this is engineered? Do you think this is something that, you know, since we know the government has HARP and also they have direct energy weapons, let's not forget about Maui. Okay, let's not forget about that. How the fire that hit Maui was neatly done in such a neat precision way from above. And how is it that the fire was just on the land as mainstream media was reporting, but then you have boats being burned too? All right. That was not a natural fire in Maui. Who knows? Maybe this earthquake was man-made. Who knows? All right. Let's get on with the next story about Eric Adams now. Moment. Here we go.
Olayemi Olurin went viral last week after a heated debate with Mayor Eric Adams on policing and safety in the New York City subway. Olurin challenged Adams on the nearly $500 million NYPD has had to pay out for police conduct cases over the past 6 years, bringing back unconstitutional stop and frisk policies that infringe on individual freedoms, the choice to fund additional police and recruit armed guards for the New York subway, despite his admission that crime is down, and the 31 deaths that have occurred under his watch at Rikers Prison. Now, Eric Adams spoke on iHeartMedia's The Breakfast Club Friday morning about the safety in New York subways. Let's take a listen.
Our subway system is a safe system, and we put in additional 1,000 officers to do the high visibility, to deal with the reality, because safety is not only felt.
New York City subway systems are still not safe, okay? I've ridden those subway systems at night, and you got crazy homeless people on there, all right, that feel they own the train and they have threatened passengers. I've literally seen it. It is not safe. All right. So he needs to, retract that statement right there.
Felt is perceived.
Now, Olayemi questioned Mayor Adams on this. Let's listen.
First of all, I would love to give me the quotes on my rhetoric because I'm lost on that. Can you give me the quotes?
Oh, that you fairmonger about the subways?
Yeah, give me
You've consistently done that since the day one of your administration. One of the first things you did was add 1,000 officers to the subway because you claimed that the subways are unrideable. You and Hochul did this and said how dangerous it is, and you recently did that when you deployed the National Guard.
Sister, but that wasn't my question, Queen. My question was, what was my fear mongering? What did I say?
You continuously say, I could point to a number of videos and quotes and everything from you, but you've said repeatedly that the subways are dangerous.
Now, later in the radio interview, Olayemi Olurin argued that in addition to recognizing the death of NYPD officers like Jonathan Diller, Adams had declined to say anything about victims of police violence, including a 19-year-old Queens man who had been shot and killed the day before the interview. She also challenged him on bringing back stop and frisk policies. Let's listen to a little bit of that.
The federal monitor, who is tasked with ensuring that NYPD is following the law, conducted an analysis. Conducted an analysis that happened 8 years ago, but they're still here monitoring what you're doing. And they said that you have brought back stop and frisk policies that are worse than they saw even during the Bloomberg era. But more importantly, they analyzed the neighborhood state. I could show you the report is available, and I know it's been available to you because your spokesperson has commented on it. They did an analysis of over 10 precincts,
you can't keep putting out
10 different precincts. That is factual. There's a federal monitor reporting to Judge T. Swain on it and presenting the information. They said that, yes, listen, let me finish so you can peel it back. They conducted an analysis of 10 different precincts, and of the stops of 10 different precincts, they found that 97% of them, by the way, of the neighborhood safety teams that were disbanded in 2020 because of their disproportionate abuse against Black and Hispanic people that you revived, they analyzed 10 of those different neighborhood safety teams and found that they're conducting 97% of their stops on Black and brown people, and a quarter of them are unconstitutional. That's what the federal monitor said, not me.
Yeah.
Now, the conversation spilled over onto both print and social media as the New York NYPD Chief of Patrol Twitter account quote tweeted a viral clip of the interview saying, quote, "This movement lawyer epitomizes everything that true New Yorkers are against." And the New York Post ran a follow-up piece accusing Olay of being, quote, woke. Now, we're very pleased to be joined by this so-called woke movement lawyer and political commentator, Olayemi.
Well, he should have known that was going to come up, okay? I mean, he has a very sordid history, and both de Blasio and Eric Adams don't give a damn about what's going on in Rikers Island. I've talked to correction officers there. A lot of them, it's horrible. The gangs run the prison. All right. A lot of death is there. A lot of correction officers, you see the videos, a lot of those correction officers, they are just thrown around like rag dolls by these inmates, pushed down the stairs, beaten. It's sad. It is very sad. And he's not really doing anything about it. Okay. And yes, stop and frisk. Yes, there has to be a balance with that. Okay, there has to be a balance with that. And I'm glad that Miss Olayemi is holding him to task with that.
Olurin herself to fact-check the claims and denials Mayor Adams made in that sensational interview. Welcome back, Olay.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, as always. Tell us a little bit about what the aftermath of this really viral exchange has been like.
I think it's been beautiful, honestly. I think it's been an overwhelming amount of support and people realizing a lot of what this administration has been doing that's been concealed from the public. There has been, of course, the NYPD harassment in the Post and the Fox News dropping their articles, but that is to be expected. I am not letting that bother me at all. But I do think it's worth mentioning that a lot of people are realizing that it says a lot that if NYPD, a journalist, is invited to an interview on a national platform, and because they don't like how the mayor performed, they begin attacking that journalist, and that the mayor is aware of it. The pressers pressed him on it in his, a lot of journalists pressed him on it in his presser yesterday, and he says that they are standing up, that he's not going to stop them from doing what they're doing. And it's not just me. They're also attacking a journalist named Harry Siegel, Errol.
All right, so let's get into the article about this. Can't play all of it. All right. So let's get into it. Activist defense attorney Alomi Olurin ignited a political firestorm last week after she blasted New York City Mayor Eric Adams during a radio interview for what she said was misleading rhetoric about rising crime, while also seeking to empathize deadly shootings by police officers, which infuriated conservatives who accused her of downplaying the recent killing of a local officer. Olurin made the controversial remarks to Adams during a March 29th taping of The Breakfast Club with host Charlamagne Tha God and DJ Envy, calling the Democratic incumbent a fearmonger for his heavy-handed response to a handful of recent violent crimes in the city, seemingly to appease conservatives and to cast himself as tough on crime. All right. The mayor appeared on the show 4 days after New York City police officer Jonathan Diller was shot to death as he conducted a traffic stop on March 25th, becoming the first NYPD officer to be killed in the line of duty in 2 years, and as several other violent episodes have plagued the city's subways in recent weeks. Eric Adams not only revived police units that were disbanded in 2020 for their disproportionate abuse against Black and brown New Yorkers, he revived stop and frisk. Since he became mayor, 97% of all stops and searches have been on Black and Latino New Yorkers. During the sit-down, Olurin defended a progressive new law in New York that allows cashless bail for suspects, asserting that most people released from jail under the ordinance do not get rearrested, a stance that did not sit well with Republicans in the aftermath of Diller's slaying. At times, the mayor struggled to get a word in edgewise as the panel drilled down on his controversial decision to add 1,000 officers to patrol trains and platforms and another 800 officers to intend to crack down on fare evasion and screen for concealed weapons, as well as discriminatory practices in policing. I don't see a problem with that. He needs to add a little bit more officers, though, okay, to patrol the subway trains. Okay, 1,000, I don't think is enough. Round the clock, 12-hour shifts on those trains is dangerous, especially if you are riding the 1, the 2, okay, or the E trains late at night, or the J trains, okay. Especially trains going to the Bronx as well, because I've seen some things on those trains. Okay. Also, there's also been social media, not just TikTok, that have been recording what goes on trains. You have people throwing bags of rats on people. Yes. Okay. Or mentally ill people in their boxers, and NYPD has to bring them off the train. All right. But there's a whole bunch of other incidents that you can see online where people are getting into fights on the trains. People are smacking each other on the trains. All right. Cops need to be in full force there. Okay. Olurin and other hosts challenge Adams to reconcile his persistent claim that New York City is one of the safest big cities in the nation, while simultaneously decry rampant subway crime, accusing Adams of intentionally trying to rouse fear in the public. Is it safe or is it not? Olurin asks Adams pointedly. As the tense on-air exchange continued, Adams defended his policies as Olurin claimed the mayor had created a false sense of urgency around recent subway crimes, leading to beefed-up patrols by law enforcement, and she suggested that would likely end up targeting people of color. Okay, with this, I mean, this right here, you do have people depending on where you're going. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I'm sorry, but some of these areas where the crimes are committed, some of those crimes are committed by Black people or Latinos. I'm sorry. The last crime that happened when a guy got in a fight on the train and his girl defended him, and the guy was able to get the gun away from the guy and shoot him with it, and he got off with self-defense. You know, the criminal was a black guy. All right. Orland later took to social media to defend her statements to Adams and to call out policies that she says have hurt the black community since the mayor took office 2 years ago. Eric Adams does not only revive police units that were disbanded in 2020 for the disciplinary abuse against black and brown New Yorkers. He has revived stop and frisk since he became mayor. 97% of all stops and searches have been on black and Latino New Yorkers. She wrote on the on Twitter, now known as X. During the interview, however, Adams defended his actions, explaining how New Yorkers felt increasingly uneasy on city transit, leading to his recent steps to increase security. Now, here's the problem with Eric Adams. Okay, you haven't been really doing much. You haven't. Like I said, I've seen dangerous things happen on the subway train. When we get into the subway system, I ride the subway system and I talk to commuters and I say, what are you feeling and how do I help you with that fear? Adams says, they say, Eric, if we see more visible uniformed officers in our subway system, we're going to feel safer. I'm sorry, you rarely do see those officers. It's, like, once in a blue moon, you're going to see 2 or 3 or 4 officers on a train. That is the truth. That is the truth. You rarely see NYPD police officers on the subway trains. It's just a fact. They need more police presence, and 1,000 officers is not enough. Olin and Adams were feet apart during the back and forth, with both raising their voices and talking over each other throughout the podcast. The interview took a heated turn when Olin used Diller's death to describe the murder of police officers as a rare occurrence nationwide, while asserting the New York City police officers had killed a number of civilians during the first 3 months of 2024. I'm not going to read a whole article. You can read it for yourself, but I'll end it right there. All right. It's basically, it's an honest question. All right. And granted, you do have some people of color, some black people, they are victims of a police shooting. And other times it is basically they had a part to play with. They had a part to play in that death, in their own death. Okay. You could take the fact of when a mentally ill, unstable man, okay, decide to act up on the subway train, and a veteran stepped in and restrained him. Okay. That mentally ill man was Jordan Neely, okay, who, has gone to try to get admitted to a mental health hospital and was rejected. Okay. Daniel Penny was the Marine who restrained him. All right. It's a sad situation. But at the same time, New York City's mental health facility failed him. Okay. So this city has a lot of problems. Its services, the city services has a lot of issues, a lot of problems that have not been dealt with properly. And you have to ask the question, what has Mayor Eric Adams been doing in office to deal with this? He has not been doing anything. You've been letting illegal migrants into our city. Okay. They have been running amok. They have been destroying things. Okay. This is not a game. These are things that are happening that are destroying our way of life in the city. And people have to work in the city. and people are scared. You have illegal migrants being housed, okay, in storefronts. Okay, one in Queens and one in the Bronx by a store owner. All right. This is the madness that's going on. That people are scared. People are scared. They don't want to deal with this. But Mayor Eric Adams is encouraging this. He's encouraging these situations. All right. Here's a situation right here.
A group of suspected migrants are under arrest this morning after they were discovered squatting in a home where guns and drugs were found. But that's not all. The group, the guns, the drugs were all in the same room as a 7-year-old boy. And now we're seeing for the first time new exclusive video of the moment NYPD showed up. Eyewitness News reporter Phil Tate is live in the Norwood section of the Bronx with more. Phil.
Yeah, well, just last week, police arrested 8 migrants believed to be squatting inside of the basement of this home that you see right here. But it's what investigators would find inside: drugs and multiple weapons, along with a 7-year-old who was playing inside of that same room. Now let's get straight to some exclusive surveillance video that we just obtained when police sprung into action, hopping out of their squad cars after they got a call about a man with a gun. When they arrived, they chased 24-year-old Hector de Soso Viata, believed to be from Venezuela, into the basement of this Hull Avenue home. Another man, 22-year-old Javier Alborno, tried to get away with another gun before he was also arrested. Playing on your screen now are 4 of the 8 suspects that were under arrest being walked out one by one from police. When a search warrant was in place, investigators recovered 2 more loaded guns, 3 loaded extended magazines, a box of ammunition, and a bag of ketamine mixed with cocaine. Moments ago, we spoke with a neighbor.
This is all going on on Eric Adams' watch.
Just next door about the landlord and those uninvited guests.
Well, they're squatters, and the landlord, the owner, has been trying to get them out of the apartment for the longest period of time.
And they're taking advantage of the fact that they could be squatters. It takes 30 days to get them out. And look what they're doing. And guess what? This happened right across a school. A lady was called the police and said she sees a man with a semi-automatic gun near a school. Okay. That man, they could have been wanting to start a child trafficking business. Okay, this is what's going on. This is what could happen, and this is all going on Eric Adams' watch. All right. I don't know what to tell you, people, but this is all going on purpose. Here's another story now that's happening in Chicago right now. This is going on Brandon Johnson's watch.
It has a pattern of following women from train stations suspect has a pattern of following women from train stations and attacking them from behind. And if released, they argue he would likely do it again. Students walking UIC's campus are on high alert after a woman was attacked and sexually assaulted near a busy CTA stop.
Well, that's very scary to hear. There's a lot of walking to do here. And of course, most of our students are commuters.
Around 8 p.m. on Saturday, March 16th, UIC police say Venezuelan migrant Elvis Jesus Hernandez Pernalete, who also goes by Luis Guevara, followed a woman from the UIC Halsted Blue Line station and, according to court documents, wrapped one arm around her neck and another around her torso. He allegedly physically and sexually assaulted her, stole her belongings, and ran.
Yeah, so here's the incident.
The victim was not a UIC student or staff member, but the assault prompted a campus-wide alert.
We have individuals in our city who are not completely vetted. We don't know their criminal history. We don't know what they're capable of.
Alderman Ray Lopez has been an advocate for adding so-called carve-outs to the sanctuary city policy that would hold asylum seekers who commit crimes accountable.
I know that there are individuals who undoubtedly are here trying for a new life, trying for something better. But at the same time, we have to address those who are just here to cause a ruckus.
And in this case, court documents reveal Pernalete didn't stop with the UIC attack, instead following a second woman from a train station and attacking her too. He's been charged with criminal sexual abuse, aggravated battery and strangulation, robbery, and attempted robbery.
I think mayors who let this happen on their watch, they have to do prison time. That's what I really think should happen. Okay? I really do. On to the next story. All right. This story is kind of wild. This story is basically the United Nations saying eradicating white people will solve climate change. Okay. That's basically what it's about. And they're using a prop. Oh, I'm sorry. A UN youth advisor by the name of Aisha Sadiqa to say that white men and capitalism are the primary cause of so-called global boiling. Let's hear what Sadiqa has to say. All right. Here we go.
And I say this because the climate crisis is not passive. The climate crisis is not a result of natural disasters, it's actually man-made. It's a result of...
Say it again, because I think they missed it.
The climate crisis is man-made. And it's not just man-made, it's white man-made. It is a result of capitalism, years of colonialism, years of racial oppression. And so, if you want to get involved, the way that we save our planet is when we protect the most vulnerable communities among us. And this includes Black trans women.
Here we go. Here we go with the nonsense. Here we go. Oh, yeah. We go with the nonsense. People who are not who they say they are and want to stay that way because they feel they weren't born in the right body. People who suffer with a dysphoria we want to make that normalized. All for the fact because of its agenda to get kids into this and to ruin their lives that they never reach puberty and to try to make this appear normal. Okay? This is some socialist crap right here that they're trying to push down our throats. Okay? And to start a gender divide. Okay, sorry, not a gender divide, a race divide, a racial divide. This is what's happening here. It's always, yeah, okay, yeah, this is white supremacy. Then come up with, okay, we got to protect people who think they are women, and we have to make them normalized in our society instead of just getting them the help that they need to understand that they're born in the right body and need to function in the gender that they were born in. No, we have to prop up degeneracy.
This includes indigenous peoples, and this is why it includes children and young folk. Because when we protect them, then we can protect everybody else.
To me, this is just a Greta Thunberg to me. That's what I'm seeing here. This is Greta Thunberg to me. The new Greta Thunberg. I guess they got tired of her and they need some fresh meat. That's what I'm seeing here. Okay. I'm seeing that as the go-to here. All right. So they're saying, okay, so the UN advisor says that white man has brought life as we know it on the verge of extinction. Racial harmony is a fallacy. The United Nations Youth Climate Advisor has a history of social media posts that call for the destruction of capitalism, claim terrorism is used as a Western smear to justify its imperialism and attack white people for purportedly fueling humanity's extinction, vice versa, the climate crisis. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres personally selected Pakistan-American Aisha Sadiqa as one of his advisors to help accelerate the implementation of his climate action agenda. A 2023 UN announcement stated Sadiqa was a Time Woman of the Year in 2023, who has co-founded 2 youth climate activist organizations. Sadiqa attributes a simple cause to climate change: white people. In March of 2021, she posted, "The white man has brought life as we know it to the verge of extinction. White man at the highest level of power in the world, the same way he has killed, looted, and ambushed black and brown people for profit, so he has the earth." She posted in May 2022. "We are allowing white people to have too much space," she said. "White people have absolutely no prerogative or authority to lead the movement." Wild stuff, man. Wild stuff here. Okay. I mean, you can't say that white supremacy doesn't exist. I agree with that. But when you want to, stand up for degeneracy, then I have a problem with you. I have a serious problem with you. Because basically you're not serious about change and help and development. You're here to start a divide. That's what I see here. So, other than that, let's get into Department of Justice to jail whistleblower who exposed the Biden family's pedophilia. Let's get into that. Fair use, by the way. Second. Okay, here we are.
Joe Biden's daughter, Ashley Biden, has been released, in which the first bombshell audio of Joe Biden's daughter, Ashley Biden, has been released, in which the first daughter desperately scrambles to get hold of her lost diary and finally admits that the mainstream media and intelligence community has been lying all along, and the diary is hers. The diary entries in question, now confirmed by Ashley Biden to be authentic, reveal she was sexually molested as a child, and she holds a deep resentment towards her father, Joe Biden, for her hypersexualized childhood. The confirmation of the journal means that the mainstream media, fact checkers, and intelligence community has been totally exposed to attempting to cover for the corrupt and depraved Biden family and mislead the American people for the second time.
Toss tip line on September.
And audio about how they came by the Ashley Biden diary.
What you're about to hear has never been released to the public. This voicemail was left on the Project Veritas tip line on September 3rd, 2020, which led our journalists to investigate the matter of Ashley Biden's diary, thrusting us into a pivotal moment of history for all of press freedom.
Hi there, I'm calling from Florida. My family, their friend who owns a house down here in Palm Beach, was renting it out. I don't know how, but this is a while back. But anyway, a new renter moved in, and Ashley Biden was staying in this room, and they found her diary, all of her clothes, luggage, pills. Anyway, diary is pretty crazy. I think it's worth taking a look at. It's not a joke. It's real. And
hi, I called your office. I'm to let you know I've got Joe Biden's daughter's diary. Legit, please contact me. Thanks for getting in contact. Are you available to call? Yes, please call me. I urge you to call as soon as possible. There's some very interesting stuff said about your dad and mother. Uh-oh.
I'd love to get it into your hands.
But the most shocking thing in the video is a conversation with Ashley Biden herself, who confirms the items are hers and tries to arrange with Project Veritas to get back the incriminating diary and its disturbing entries about her father.
After years of public speculation and internal deliberation, we are finally releasing our conversation with Ashley Biden about her diary and other possessions. They were abandoned and later offered to Project Veritas.
Hi, is this Ashley Biden?
This is she. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, I just wanted, so I heard you have a few of my belongings, and so I was going to ask if you could please meet my friend, Eric, who is down in Del Rey, if you could meet him and get this up to him.
There's a diary here. It starts in January. It says, January at the end of a New York month, I'm sitting on a bed at the I building.
Yeah, so if you could just give everything that you have to Eric, that would be really great.
I don't want to give this to the wrong person. I mean, I want to make sure.
At this point, and I don't mean to, I don't want to have to get Secret Service involved in this, right? Because it's a whole process.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I am Ashley Biden. It is my stuff. So if you could just give all of that over, I would really appreciate it. I know you sent a picture to my husband with a camera and a few other things that are mine as well. So that would be really great. Where is a good place for him to meet you?
There's also this bag with luggage tags on it. And so is that bag, because there's all this stuff, is that bag yours too, Ashley?
Yes, it is.
Shortly after the phone call, this October 16th letter was sent from Project Veritas to Joe Biden's presidential campaign asking the candidate for comment. October 23rd, a follow-up email from our then chief legal officer. And on October 29th, 2020, Ashley Biden's attorney, Roberta Kaplan, finally responded saying, quote, "This is insane. We should send to the SDNY." This is the FBI splash page showing the SDNY immediately opened an investigation into Project Veritas on the very same day. And on November 8th, 2020, Project Veritas returns all Ashley Biden's abandoned items, including her diary, to Florida local law enforcement.
In what world is the alleged theft of a diary investigated by the FBI? Why were they doing this? The answer lies in what's in the diary. Accusations of sick.
Let me ask you something. What father kisses his daughter on the lips like this? You all get mad at Trump. What is this? What is this? And there's a whole lot more here. I mean, there's also allegations of Biden trafficking, involved in, trafficking. There's also a black girl who was on interview with Stu Peters and talked about how she was trafficked by Obama and Biden. So yeah, this is it's pretty deep rabbit hole.
And horrific sexual behavior by her father with his own daughter. And now Ashley Biden is on record authenticating that she was the young daughter and Joe Biden was the father in question.
You're watching pre-dawn raids by the FBI on 3 Project Veritas journalists. They took place on November 4th and November 6th of 2021.
I'm sorry, so what is this regarding? This is the search warrant. Open up. Open your head! My hands
No, what I'm trying to say here with you right to. Just once again, for our safety and for yours, we're going to have to sit with you.
Yeah.
You do not have to speak to them. You're not being detained. All right. So it's just a question for our safety. Yeah, let's just go to the seat.
In Dubuque, Iowa. The 7th.
What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this?
Deeper dive into his pattern of behavior reveals serious question marks about the nature of the man. This is the man who kissed his granddaughter on the lips while clutching her hand as a crowd of Democrats watched at a campaign event in Iowa in 2020. The former vice president.
That's his granddaughter. Yuck. Look, you guys got mad at Trump. Yeah, I was disgusted at Trump, the way he was, he would have, when he treated Ivan, his daughter, who's now married to Jared Kushner. When she was younger, it was just disgusting how he would have his daughter sitting on his lap, as a preteen. It was just horrible. Okay, and this right here is disgusting. If you want to talk about Trump, talk about Joe Biden doing this too.
The president was spotted holding the hand of then 19-year-old Finnegan Biden's hand as they arrived at a campaign event at Clark University in Dubuque, Iowa. The 77-year-old then planted a full kiss on her lips as a crowd of Democrats watched on. An increasing number of people close to him, including family members, are now admitting that Biden is another powerful man with certain predilections who is hiding in plain sight. Serial predators have a way of flaunting their deranged success, rubbing it in the faces of their victims. It's a type of psychopathy common amongst the globalist elite. Biden has been criticized by conservatives countless times in the past for comments deemed creepy made towards younger individuals, including an interaction in 2022 when the president described a friendship he had with a 12-year-old girl when he was 30.
But guess what? We got a lot to do. You gotta say hi to me. We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
What the hell? What is this? What is this? This is so funny.
This woman helped me get an awful lot done.
Weeks later, Biden was at it again, creeping up on a young girl from behind, sniffing her, and repeating his favorite chat-up line. Now, a very important thing I told my daughters and granddaughters, no serious guys until you're 30, Biden said to an unknown young girl at the event in Irvine, California. Okay, I'll keep that in mind, the visibly uncomfortable girl said as the president leaned in close, taking the opportunity to take in her scent.
Look at Daniel. Now, the very important thing I told my daughter and granddaughters, no serious guys in the 30s.
Okay. This guy's creepy as hell, man. Creepy as hell. Well, that's all I'm showing for now. So, other than that, hey, let me know what you think about the channel, about this episode right here. Later. You know what to do.